Ever feel like you're just an ordinary person, totally overlooked? Well, let me tell you a story about a young woman who felt the same way but ended up saving an entire nation. This is the incredible story of Esther. Our story begins in ancient Persia, where a young Jewish orphan girl named Hadassah is living with her older cousin Mordecai. He'd raised her like his own daughter. Life was okay, but things were about to get crazy. The king of Persia, Xerxes, had a bit of a temper. After a huge fight, he kicked out his queen Vashti and decided he needed a new one. So he basically held a kingdom-wide beauty pageant. All the most beautiful young women in the land were brought to the palace, including Hadassah. On Mordecai's advice, she kept her Jewish identity a secret and went by her Persian name Esther. And guess what? Out of all the women, the king was completely captivated by Esther. Her grace, her kindness, her quiet strength. He saw something special in her. Just like that, an orphan girl and nobody from the outside became the queen of Persia. It's like a real-life fairy tale, right? But while Esther was adjusting to palace life, trouble was brewing. There was this guy, Haman. He was the king's top advisor, and he was seriously arrogant. He demanded that everyone bow down to him. But Mordecai, being a devout Jew, refused. He would only bow to God. This sent Haman into a rage. He wasn't just mad at Mordecai. He decided to destroy all the Jewish people in the entire empire. He was pure evil. He went to the king, spun a bunch of lies about the Jews being disloyal, and convinced the king to sign a decree to have them all annihilated on a specific day. Can you imagine the terror? An entire people condemned to die. When Mordecai heard the news, he was devastated. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, a sign of deep mourning, and sent a message to Queen Esther. He told her everything and pleaded with her. You have to go to the king. You have to save our people. But this was a terrifying request. No one, not even the queen, could just waltz in to see the king uninvited. The penalty was death, unless the king held out his golden scepter. Esther was petrified. She sent a message back. I could be killed. And this is where Mordecai says one of the most famous lines in the whole story. He tells her, don't think that just because you're in the palace you will escape. If you remain silent at this time, relief will arise from another place, but you and your family will perish. And who knows, perhaps you have come to royal position for such a time as this. For such a time as this. Those words hit Esther hard. She realized her life, her position, her entire journey. It had all led to this single moment. This was her purpose, so she made a choice. She sent a message back to Mordecai, telling him and all the Jews to fast and pray for her for 3 days. And then she said, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. After 3 days of fasting and prayer, Esther put on her royal robes, took a deep breath, and walked into the king's inner court. The guards tensed. Haman, who was likely nearby, probably smirked. The king saw her. For a moment, everything stood still. Then he smiled and extended his golden scepter. She was safe, but she didn't blurt everything out. She was wise. She invited the king and Haman to a banquet, and then a second banquet. She was playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment. At that second banquet, the king, feeling generous, said, Esther, what is it you want? I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom. And that's when she dropped the bombshell. If I have found favor with you, your majesty, she said, grant me my life, this is my petition. And spare my people, this is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. The king was stunned. Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing? Esther looked directly at Haman and said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. The color drained from Haman's face. The king exploded in fury. In a dramatic twist of fate, the very gallows that Haman had built to hang Mordecai on became his own. Haman was executed, and the king gave his position to Mordecai. The king reversed the evil decree, and the Jewish people were saved. Esther, the orphan girl who became a queen, risked everything. She used her position not for her own gain, but to stand for her people. She stayed strong in the face of fear and became a hero for all time. Her story reminds us that no matter who you are or where you come from, you might be exactly where you need to be for such a time as this.